The Occupy movement exposed Wall Street, and by extension our entire economic system, as one of exploitation, and as one that God does not approve of, and that God is calling us to change. My name is Micah Bales, and I live in Washington, D.C., and I'm a part of Friends of Jesus Fellowship, and I was one of the organizers of Occupy D.C. And authentically prophetic spirituality is going to be one that's apocalyptic. And the word apocalypse or apocalyptic, when I say that, many people are going to immediately think, oh, he's talking about a nuclear war, or about, climate change making the planet uninhabitable, or, a dramatic cataclysm. And that's the popular usage of the word, but historically and in Scripture, apocalypse, it comes from the Greek, apocalypsis, which means unveiling, taking the veil back and seeing what's actually hidden behind the curtain. It's like when Dorothy goes to the Emerald City in The Wizard of Oz, and she looks behind the curtain and sees it's just this guy talking into a machine, and he's not actually this powerful godlike figure. The early Quaker movement was an apocalyptic movement, a movement that deeply referenced the book of Revelation and other apocalyptic writings, and interpreted them in a deeply spiritual sense. That when we read about wars and conflicts and tribulations in the book of Revelation and other places in Scripture, it's not simply talking about the kind of wars that we humans are used to. It's talking about an inward and spiritual warfare that's happening between all the ways in which we enslave ourselves and those forces of spiritual darkness, and the power of God to redeem and heal. In the Occupy movement, I saw an apocalyptic unveiling of symbolically New York City, but really the entire economic system that we live in this world, and especially in the first world, in the developed world. This economic system that makes many people very, very rich, but at the cost of the lives of so many. That builds up luxury, but deprives people of basic necessities. When the Hebrews were in the desert, after they had left Egypt, but before they'd gotten to the Promised Land, while Moses was away, the Hebrews got together and took all their gold jewelry and made it into an image of a golden calf, and they bowed down to the golden calf and they worshipped it. And what was going on here was the Hebrews had just left everything they knew, and they were scared, and they didn't know whether they were going to be able to make it out on their own. And so they worshipped a god of wealth and prosperity. One of the coolest actions that we took part in as a part of Occupy DC and Occupy Church was to take a golden calf, a papier-mâché golden calf, and we marched it up Capitol Hill to the Capitol building where Congress meets, and we delivered it to them. In the book of Revelation, the city of Babylon is a code word for the city of Rome, which was the capital of the greatest empire the world had ever known, and the empire within which everyone was living. In the book of Revelation, it talks about the city of Babylon, that is the city of Rome, being on fire, and the smoke rising up to heaven. And there's an image of all the merchants of the earth weeping over Babylon and weeping over the profits that would be lost, and all the beautiful merchandise that was burning up, and all the trade that would no longer happen. Included in that trade, there's actually a list of all the sorts of things they were trading, and the list ends with, and human lives. Somehow, and I don't think this was planned from the beginning, but somehow the Occupy movement unlocked a real need that we had, not to list demands, not to say what needs to come next, but instead to say, look at this burning city of Babylon. Look at the smoke rising up to heaven. Look at the utter destruction of this city. And we're living in it.